This is Richard Wolff from Democracy at Work, responding to another AskProfWolff question from our Patreon community. This question comes from Konstantin in Moscow, Russia. And before responding, I want to tell Konstantin and the rest of our growing Russian audience how excited and enthusiastic we feel to know that folks in Russia are interested in and following our work. Welcome and thank you. Here's Konstantin's question. In an interchange I had some time ago with the economist Peter Schiff, I commented with excitement about worker co-ops as a new and better way to organize production compared to capitalism. And Peter Schiff, who loves capitalism, answered that he didn't think it would ever get anywhere because what workers want to do at the end of their 9-to-5 day of work is to go home, have a beer, and be as far away from the job as possible. I want to respond by saying Peter Schiff is both right and wrong. He's right that if you asked workers today, most of them in, say, the United States, absolutely, at the end of the workday, 5 o'clock more or less, they want to go home. Or they want to go to that bar on the way home which offers happy hour after work, as if to underscore the feeling of most workers that the hours before those happy hours are unhappy indeed. So Peter Schiff is right. That's what workers want. But he's wrong because he doesn't ask the question why workers want that, because if he did, he'd realize that workers' wants are a lot more complicated than he has been willing to admit. Let me explain. In most capitalist corporations, workers are denied all kinds of rights, opportunities, activities that could and would make them love to go to work. Let me give you some examples. They don't get to sit around and make strategy for how the enterprise they work in will grow, what it will produce, what technologies it will use, how it will change its growth strategy, how the workplace could be designed to be more effective, to be more humane, to be more exciting for workers. They're not allowed to do any of those things 99.9% of the time. For most workers, the minute you set foot in the workplace, you are told where to stand, where to sit, when you can go to the bathroom, what to do, how to do it, what machine to use, how long to be at each of your tasks. And at the end of the day, whatever you've helped to produce using your brains and your muscles immediately belongs to your employer. He ushers you out of the building, and you're all to come back tomorrow to do that again. No wonder people don't want to spend extra time in a place that excludes them from everything that might make work meaningful. Who does all the interesting work? The folks at the top, the owner, the top executives, the major shareholders, the board of directors. You put them all in a room and you got 30 people maximum. Okay, they're the ones who have the power lunches. They're the ones who design, who direct, who expand, who strategize. They do the interesting work, and they do it at a humane pace, or at least a pace that they set. No one is telling them when they can go to the bathroom and when they can't. So yes, you put workers into a typical capitalist workplace and they'll want to get out of there at 5 o'clock. But if you gave workers the chance to own and operate their own enterprises so that the workplace becomes their project, one that they're engaged in along with the other workers as equal partners, one person, one vote, you'd see workers eager. You know why? Because workers find ways to participate in sports activities, in church activities, in community activities, in family activities, where they're working together on a common project with other people that are meaningful for them. Work could be like that if you let it. Worker co-ops are a way to engage the capabilities, the enthusiasms, the skills, the imaginations of working people. For most in capitalism, those qualities are squelched, denied, blocked, thwarted. Capitalism isn't good for your mental health, just as it isn't really good for your physical health either. When you ask people whether they want to leave the job at 5 o'clock, it's not because they don't want to work, and it's not because they don't have skills and enthusiasms and hopes and dreams to invest in the workplace. It's because you have denied them the opportunity to do that. Peter Schiff should understand that. Capitalism stands in the way by the way it organizes enterprises from getting the kind of rich contributions human communities are able to make. Capitalism, in that most fundamental sense, is deeply inefficient and always was. Worker co-ops are a form of liberating the capabilities of the mass of employees rather than squelching it, rather than repressing it, so that, yes, so many just want to go home and have a beer. This is Richard Wolff for Democracy at Work, thanking our Patreon community for their support and their interest.